Good evening, everyone. My name is Garika Singh Makkar. I'm from the brand marketing team of WeddingWire India. Since the global pandemic hit us last year, weddings, like many other segments, has had a huge impact in India. With the country facing the second lockdown, there seems to be a sense of uncertainty, not just amongst our clients, but also amongst our fellow vendor partners. In this webinar, we'll be discussing wedding planning in 2021. How has the pandemic changed the wedding planning scenario? Before I move on to the questions, I'll quickly, for the sake of the audience, run by the names of the panelists. We have Ramela Sen from WeddingWire India, Janvi Dave from Weddings by Janvi Dave, Anant M. Khandelwal from Indian Wedding Planners, Ruchika Arora Bansal from Blush Weddings, Kanika Kumriya from Kalide by Kanika Kumriya. So I'll pose my first question to Ramela Sen. Ramela, what are the consumers' sentiments with regards to weddings in 2021? What change are we seeing in the overall thinking with the recent increase in COVID cases as compared to the last year?
Well, owing to the night curfews in multiple cities right now and a lockdown in the capital, obviously there's a lot of uncertainty. There were a lot of weddings that were planned in April, May, and there are two kinds of responses that we are mostly getting from our couples at the moment. Firstly, there are couples who don't want to cancel or postpone their wedding. They want to get married on the same date that they had planned earlier. So they are open to acclimatize and adjust with a smaller and intimate wedding ceremony with close family members only. They're open to that idea and they're going ahead with that kind of a wedding plan. However, they do have a plan of doing a big reception or maybe throw a larger party when things get better. So love is definitely not cancelled in that way. Secondly, we are also seeing couples who are postponing their wedding indefinitely because they want the safety of their family and their friends to be the first priority right now. So they're reaching out to vendors, figuring out other wedding dates, maybe in the second half of the year. So similar to last year, you might see a shift in demand. All of the weddings that are happening in the first half, that were happening in the first half initially, might now move to the second half in October, November, and December. Thank you.
So we see a lot of learnings, being picked up from the last year and being implemented this year as well. My next question is open to all the panelists. What challenges are you all facing after the recent changes in the government policies with regards to weddings? How is it impacting 2021 as compared to the weddings that you did in 2020 once we were hit with the pandemic? Janvi, would you like to go ahead with
Oh,
it?
yes, sure. So I think the challenges, firstly, that we faced in last year and what we are facing in this year, there's a very big difference that last year we were not aware of, what exactly is COVID and what is this virus all about, what is the infection all about, and what are we supposed to do. And now we have planned weddings throughout, the last year, and we do have experience currently, at least of, planning wedding in the pandemic. But so at least that is something that we know we have experienced. And this year, yes, currently there is uncertainty again because of the second wave. And but at least we have the hope of the vaccination drive going on, and the good news is at least from May 1st it is open to 18 plus group. So that is also one positive part that we can look at, and hoping that the upcoming season, November, December till Feb, March, is gonna be a better season. But currently, there is a sense of uncertainty going on.
Right. Anyone else who would like to fit in? Anand?
Yeah, Garika, I would like to just add that, I'll talk more from a perspective that, we are based out of Delhi, NCR, and what the current situation stands here, because, there are a lot of local weddings that are happening as opposed to destination weddings, which we did beginning of last year when the pandemic had pretty much slowed down. But the major issue, which perhaps could help the audience as well, is that, so for example, our workings are from Gurgaon primarily. And what happens is that there is currently a curfew in Delhi. So even if people are they've moved and shifted their events to Gurgaon, and there are events happening in Gurgaon, weddings, so to say, and are cancelled in Delhi. But there is so much manpower, labor, people, workers who come from Delhi who are currently unable to do that. There are day passes to travel from Delhi to Gurgaon, but those are also getting very tough to procure through SDMs, through local channels, because there are so many of us who need it for our workers. Again, the entry exit of commercial vehicles. So when we particularly talk about challenges, I think this currently is a major challenge. So even if people have moved their events to Gurgaon, so the movement is not very smooth. So we have to take a lot of measures, planning, a lot of stuff that's going behind it to put these events together. For example, I have 3 events coming up in the next week, and we know what kind of madness is going with it. But yeah, we're all trying to make sure that these events go on smoothly. So that's where we are at.
I think when it comes to wedding planning, logistics is essentially the backbone of wedding planning, right? And with that happening in bits and pieces, it's causing quite a ruckus currently. Anand, would you like to pitch in on this question?
Yeah, hi. Well, as correctly said by Ruchika, so the bigger challenge what I see is we are unable to plan events the way it should be. Guidelines coming a night prior, and you literally you cannot make any kind of amendments in such a short notice. What I really feel, and I think this has only led us to brush up your skills in crisis management. That's it.
Great. So my next question is for Kanika.
Sure.
2020 saw many formats of wedding happening. Intimate weddings to shift weddings to mini-minis to bigger multiple events weddings happening by the end of the year, which was October, November. What kind of formats do you think will continue in 2021, and how do you think things like guest management will go?
I feel that it's going to be the same how it was in 2020, as we know that this was something new for all of us to do an intimate wedding. People expect a lot from an intimate wedding. They want it to be as large as a big fat wedding. Small things they pick up. No, this is supposed to be done like this is supposed to be done like this. So I think it's going to be just the same how it was in 2020. The guest management is going to be just the same. I think only the important people are going to be a part of it. Only the close family and friends, and the rest would be either on Zoom or somewhere to connect so that they can at least have a look at it. I've seen weddings where the real mama chacha cannot be a part of it. They're also scared to be a part of that of the wedding, because you don't know, even after getting a COVID test, now the news is coming that even if you're negative, you could be positive as well. So the reports are also coming out to be wrong. So I feel it's still going to remain the same. The fifth, I think it's going to be 50 for now, but I don't know, in the future it might even be 20 people who are max going to be a part of the wedding. But apparently I feel it's going to be just the same how it was in 2020. There's not going to be any change until and unless we don't beat this, or if people are not vaccinated. So I think it's going to remain the same.
Yeah, I think with the current scenario,
yes,
around is a very big challenge that we're facing.
Absolutely.
So, Anand, my next question is for you. What is the current status, even prior to the pandemic hitting us? We saw a lot of destination weddings happening internationally. So when it comes to 2021, what is the current status of destination weddings? What are the places within the country that you think would be safe for destination weddings to happen?
What I feel is the current status. What I feel is confused, since there is no clarity in terms of planning, in terms of all the process. So see, now I see a complete ray of hope as weddings, which was in between COVID 2020 and COVID 2021. They didn't stop. In 2020 also we did a lot of weddings, and I'm sure in 2021 also we'll do a lot of weddings, and that makes us going. The weddings will not stop, and there is no difference.
Right. Perfect. So I think one aspect that really stood out last year, focusing on personalization. So my question is for Ruchika. With the weddings being downsized, there was focus on personalization in 2020. Can you share some tips on how unique personalizations can be implemented in an intimate wedding setup?
So, Varika, if I start, this list will go on. But because personalization is something that, irrespective of the downsizing or not, I think that's what a wedding is really all about. So what we used to do and what we now can do, of course, maybe slightly differs there. But yeah, I think couple of main things that I feel people have really taken up is, for example, couples have really taken up to the fact that the venue could be more personalized. When I say more personalized, it could be a place where they first met, or perhaps have a wedding at their ancestral homes, and people are really opening up to that. So earlier every couple used to be like, no, perhaps this destination, or perhaps this venue, this hotel. But that kind of mindset and that shift I have personally seen. Again, so to reiterate, with our major clientele that we have from the major cities across North India more so. So I know that that's been a shift, and it's a beautiful shift, because when you have these intimate gatherings at these kind of boutique properties or ancestral homes, it's a different feeling altogether. It's just serene to even do weddings there. Then also the whole we all have been talking about sustainability in a big way. So I think that is a very personal aspect as well. So if a couple is into sustainability, then the time is now, because smaller gatherings can they call for sustainability, and you can really do sustainable things, right from perhaps upcycling your wedding wear to getting into slow fashion, so to say, and having food which is packed and just up to the mark, and there's no wastage, so on and so forth. Like, if celebrities can do it, so can we. And we have a recent beautiful example from Dia Mirza's wedding. I think she did it top notch, beautifully, and everything about that wedding was so bang on. So there are so many learnings just around us, so we can definitely pick cues. And also I think most importantly, in personalization, we can add a lot to the favors that we could give to our guests, the thank yous that we could write. These are just small gestures in Indian weddings, which are not really possible because the weddings are so large scale that it's often difficult to even think of the fact that, if I was the bride, then I'm actually sitting, writing a personal handwritten note and just thanking my guests that they came by. So yeah, I think couple of these things, and like I said, the list would go on, but these would be good to begin with.
Yeah, I think small things like these kind of help make the overall wedding memorable. So I think one more aspect of weddings, especially Indian weddings, was the budget that we are willing to put in, right?
Right.
Again, in today's time, because the size of weddings is going down, Janvi, do you think people are replanning their wedding budgets now, or are they still open to the thought of having like a big fat Indian wedding, and are they willing to postpone their weddings for that?
So when we talk about big fat Indian wedding, I think we have to talk about a big part of that is the longer guest list. So of course, if they want a longer guest list, then they are postponing. But then there are many who are actually, not if not talking about big fat wedding, and they are overseas clients. So even they are postponing their wedding in that case, because they have many guests coming from overseas and they are not able to do that. But there are many I have seen that they have gone ahead because they're already postponing their wedding from last year. So there is, they cannot wait any longer, and they have gone ahead and done an intimate wedding with a shorter guest list. Now, when you have a shorter guest list, there is, of course, they are replanning their budget in a way. In fact, I have heard them saying that, okay, now, the guest list is short and I want the best of everything. So they are going for premium venues. They are going, which they otherwise would have not gone ahead with. They're going for premium venues. They're going for customized decor. They are, going for a lot of personalization in the wedding. Also, the best maybe guest interaction, the best of guest interaction that we can think of. So I think they are focusing more on quality rather than quantity, and it's good to see that change, because I'm sure this is the section of people I'm talking about. They would have never gone ahead with an intimate wedding otherwise. And still we have had a lavish celebration, in terms of when it comes to celebrating it, it's all been lavish. So though they have gone ahead with shorter guestage, it has been really lavish, and the celebration has been really personalized, and also at the same time focus was on quality, getting the best of vendors.
Perfect. So my next question is for Rumela. What role is digitalization playing in the wedding planning process right now, especially with the COVID cases rising? How do you think this will get implemented across various touch points in the wedding planning process?
I think digitalization is very, very important at the moment. I think since 2020, even before that, we had gradually moved into the digital age, and now we are in it. Thanks to the internet and digitalization and technology, there's a lot that we are being able to do. We are in touch, and it has also expanded the scope of wedding planning as well as celebrations for couples. If I talk about WeddingWire India, since we are a platform that helps couples plan wedding and helps couples to reach out to the right vendors to plan their weddings, we have seen an increase of almost 19% year on year in this March 21 for couple inquiries. And we have also seen that on our platform, almost an 18% increase has come in the website traffic on February 21. Our new couple sign-ups have also increased by almost 47% year on year. So you can understand how much people are relying on digitalization to plan their weddings right now. We are making it possible for couples to file all kinds of wedding businesses and venues from our platform. So who wouldn't want to plan the best things about their wedding from the simplest comfort of the couch, right? Apart from booking the right vendors for the wedding, we also see how celebrations are being happening at a large scale because of digitalization. You will see live streaming of weddings from all of the venues now. People in abroad who are not able to attend weddings of their close ones are actually attending through Zoom calls, right? And people now are also having their own wedding website to handle all guest communications, because your wedding website is your personalized platform wherein you can give all of the detailed information about your wedding to all of your guests. It's all in one place. And we also saw virtual bachelorette parties happening, which was quite interesting. More than physical invites, e-invites were being planned. We're watching couples send WhatsApp invitations to their guests, etc. So I think digitalization is everywhere, even for shopping for weddings, for bridal wear, groom's wear, etc. It's just taken over, and thanks to digitalization, it has made weddings possible. It is helping all of us stay connected, and it is making sure that the business does not just go down the hole, and things keep continuing in the best way possible.
Right. I completely agree. So I genuinely believe that there are two kinds of people. One who believe that they'll be able to handle the wedding themselves and don't really opt in for a wedding planner. And then there are the other category that kind of makes sure that there is someone that they held accountable and responsible for their particular wedding. So Anand, my question is for you. How has the consumer behavior changed or evolved towards getting wedding planners involved in their weddings, and also on using online wedding planning platforms due to the rise in COVID since last year?
I think I always feel that online platform has given consumers enough that they should not have. What I think, it just leads more confusion in selection, and hence the decision making is slow. There is always a personal touch needed when it comes to meeting the client personally, having their trust built in us, and for everything else. But now technology has come in action, and most of our meetings are happening online. and on other platforms, and it has definitely made our work easy. I'm sure the day is not too far where we might just need the guest on the wedding day.
Right. Perfect. So I think what we would traditionally do was that we would use physical invites for our weddings, right? So Janvi, do you see physical invites coming into the picture again post COVID hitting us, or do you think we'll use other modes of communication like e-invites and customized wedding websites for our communication?
What I feel is definitely e-invites, wedding websites, the apps, they are the need of the hour and they have saved the day. And people have opened their minds, towards it, because earlier having e-invites was just an option, but now it has become a mandate. Because you of course cannot go ahead with physical invites, but and also one more thing, that with the digital space you can get very much creative, you can animate, you can showcase what you would otherwise not be able to do in a physical invite. But having said that, you cannot completely write off physical invites, because as per Indian culture, physical invites are required. There's a special requirement for it. So I feel the number may go down for physical invites, and e-invites and the digital space. This has actually opened people's mind, and in fact, also the older generation has gotten used to this kind of communication, and they have accepted it. That is a good change, and also they have become more tech savvy. They are okay with, they know how to do a Zoom call, how to do video calls, and they know all the live streaming and these things. So now I feel these things are going to be mandate. It's going to be a part of a wedding. But at the same time, physical invites will be there, but I think it will be lesser. And sometimes it will be absolutely okay not having it, because now we've accepted the other mode of communication, the invitation. And I feel at the same time, physical invites industry will also have to get a little more creative and come up with better solution, better creativity. Of course, they're doing a good job currently, but because we have seen the other side of the mode of communication, I think we have to get more. They have to get more creative when it comes to that.
Yeah, I think that's a great insight. I completely agree.
I just wanted to add to this something very interesting, Gaurika, is the fact that how it's just a very small thing, that how all of us in the beginning of the pandemic last year, we got so averse to, oh my God, we should stop reading the newspaper. Newspaper shouldn't come into our house. It's, I mean, you can catch the virus through surface, etc., through things. So, but we really missed reading the newspaper, right? The physical copy, the smell of those pages, just the fact that you had ink in front of you and you're flipping over magazines and things like that. So I think it pretty much boils down to the same aspect here, that everybody who loves the touch, feel, and just the fact that they receive. Of course, with an e-invite also, I'm sure you receive that warmth. But anything that comes with a touch is always something. Again, if we go back to the personalization aspect of things, so you just feel so much more warmer, and that's the connection that you have. And not to miss the mithai ka dabbas and all the savories and all the sweets that come along with the invite are always so welcoming. So I totally agree with Janvi that it's not going to go completely, but yeah, it's there to stay. But yeah, perhaps we'll have to strike a good balance and see how we're going to do this. So yeah,
I completely agree on that. Maybe like the conventional invitations would have to be put on hold for now, but they'll definitely be coming back. So I think one element of a big fat Indian wedding, or just an Indian wedding in general, is the entertainment factor involved. So when it comes to entertainment, what trends have we seen post the pandemic, and how will these continue in 2021? Kanika, would you like to answer?
Yes, so I feel that the entertainment still sort of remains the same. Of course, it's not as huge and how it was back then before the pandemic. But we still have the special dances. I mean, people sit on their own places, and we have the family dance and we have the first dance as well. That's still continuing how it was before as well. Then we can have the DJ as well, but of course we need to have the social distancing there as well. So we have to mark the places where people can, be in their places, and they can, dance and enjoy. We still have the toast and speeches, that special speeches by the family members for the bride and the groom, and the toast as well. That was also one of the things that still exists and is there, and it hasn't changed. Apart from that, the big ones that we used to have, the entertainment where we used to have the special dances of, having outsourced people, or we having celebrities singing and all, has, of course, it's not there anymore. But we are hoping once things get better and we are back to normal, then we'll witness all of this, that the celebrities dancing and the singing and all of it. But for now, we see all of this. We see also the photo, we have seen the stand-up comedian as well. We have had one wedding where we had a comedian, and it was an amazing experience for all of them, and people really enjoyed. Of course, there isn't any mingling around with all of this, so that was one of the best hit things that I've experienced. And of course, we did a photo montage as well, as the memories and how the bride and the groom met, from their pictures and all of that. So this is something new that has come up, and people really enjoy this as well. So this is some of the few things that is a hit in this pandemic, and something that we've discovered apart from the celebrities and the dance and all of that. So yes, this is what it is.
Perfect. So we are at the last leg of our discussion. So this is just a reminder for the audience to please put in their questions in the comments section if they have any. So moving on, safety currently is a major priority, right? So my question is for Ruchika. What are the major safety measures that you are considering currently, since weddings currently are happening in an intimate format? So what are the safety measures that you think are important and need to be considered?
I don't think anyone needs an introduction to what kind of safety measures we really need, but yeah, just to reiterate, or perhaps just a couple of things which I would say are added to the list, is that last year again, when the pandemic had slowed down, so we weren't really, all of us just wanted to get out. So one thing that we didn't really concentrate on was having kids perhaps below the age of 5 years, or maybe our older generation, like our grandparents and other just 50 plus guests who would come and attend the event. As much as my heart breaks and aches to say that, but then yes, I think if this particular age group is avoided, it's just better, of course, for them and for us. That is one safety measure, apart from all the others, which I think you and I, all of us put together here, who are a part of this current talk, know that, of course, COVID test is something that we should just make sure that each guest has. It has become a way of life now. So initially we did feel that, there were some hiccups. A lot of guests would take it personally that, oh my God, we are being asked to show a COVID test between families and things like that. But I think we are past all of that, considering safety is priority. Of course, it's an added advantage if we get to know from our guest list beforehand that if they have been vaccinated already, which is a plus. So that is something that could be checked, because we as planners, that is something we do as part of our RSVP. In fact, the first wedding we did last year in December, which was, which took place in Jaipur, as part of our RSVP calling, my team made sure that they told them, that they have to get the COVID test, and plus they have to confirm to us and send us their report before their arrival. So all those things are important. One more thing that we just don't take care of, which I observed once we started doing events again last year, up till now, up till March, and I'm in April, let's see how my events go next week, is the fact that masks no matter how fancy a mask or how much money you spent on that mask, you would still not end up wearing it, on a social gathering or on an event, which I really, really request people, I urge people through this particular forum that, it is so important. And right now it's so important that all of us are being told to wear 2 masks, not even 1. So guys, let's just get real about this. Let's just understand that it is priority at the moment. So yeah, 1 surgical mask and then your fancy mask goes on, and yeah, you'd look as good. Maybe just pose for a photo individually, not in groups. But yeah, I think these things are extremely important, apart from your temperature checks and other things which all of us are taking care of. So I don't really want to run through that fact, but yeah, this is where we are.
Definitely. Thank you for reiterating that. That was, I think, needed with the current situation that we are in. So my last question is open to all. If you guys could just share some tips for fellow wedding businesses who are trying to plan weddings in a safe and secure manner currently. If there are any inputs that you guys have, I think that would be really helpful.
So what I would like to say on that is that I think the planning process has to get stronger than before. I think it has to get more streamlined because, going through all the SOPs, of course, we are all aware of, what we should be doing, but going through thoroughly with your team is very important so that your team does not panic when, on the day. They should know, and there should be contingency plans ready for everything. And when you're planning, make sure you're keeping safety as a priority, and then you're planning everything, for that wedding. So that itself will give you a lot of solutions, and also cut down on the last minute running around. I feel before a wedding, you should be able to at least take some rest, be at your home, and not like how we used to do weddings earlier, back-to-back weddings. I feel we can still do, but when it comes to controlling the spread of infection, I think we should take some rest at least 3 to 4 days before the event and after the event. And I think we have to understand now, when we are picking up projects and weddings, we have to be more careful of how we are doing it, because it's not just about our safety but our teams and also the guests involved. So we have to be a little more cautious, while planning weddings. And I think the planning process has to get a little more stronger, so there are no last minute running around. Your team is not running around last minute. And I think few days before the wedding, we should be just at our homes and, all set for the wedding.
So, anyone else who would like to add?
I would like to add some points to Janvi, what Janvi said. We should always be ready with the plan B. We don't know when government change the plans or when government change the guidelines. हमें खुद को नहीं पता कब मोदी जी आज 8:45 पे या रात को 8 बजे आ जाएंगे और मित्रों सुनो कल से लॉकडाउन लग जाएगा और ये हो जाएगा. तो my point is we should be ready with the plan B, with our clients also, with our vendors also, if it is with the budget or with the artists, with booking of hotels, with booking of vendors, we should be ready with the plan B. चाहे वो बजट हो हमारा, हम लोग सेकंड बजट भी लेके चले, सेकंड बजट पहले से क्लाइंट को प्रपोज करके चले कि अगर प्लान ए ये है, आपका बजट 1 करोड़ रुपए का, प्लान बी हो गया, गैदरिंग 100 से 200 आ गई, 200 से 300 हो गई या 300 की 50 हो गई, तो हम लोग ये करेंगे. I have recently faced the situation where मेरे पास 8 या 9 शादियां कैंसिल ऑलरेडी हो चुकी हैं. क्लाइंट आज भी पूछ रहे क्या करेंगे क्या नहीं करेंगे. स्टिल वी आर प्लानिंग सम वेडिंग्स इन दिस मंथ. जो शादियां 300 लोगों की थी उनको हम 100 लोगों में कर रहे हैं, 150 में कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि हमारा प्लान भी रेडी था.
Right. I think with the current situation, having an alternative plan at the ready is, I think, crucial. Ruchika or Kanika, would you like to add?
I just wanted to say that this also from what both Janvi and Anand said, I'm just gonna so I just wanted to bring up a little biased point of view, that of course we as planners are going to do our bit. We will try to have the plan A's and the plan B's, but it's again a humble request to all the clients we would perhaps work in the future, that there has to be this level of understanding and this level of freedom and trust that also, of course, again, I have noticed personally, I'm sure everybody else would agree that all our clients have all of a sudden just invested a lot of their I'm using the word because they really have invested a lot of their interest and their trust in us, because they believe that we can bridge the gap in a lot of ways. So for example, between a hotel signing proper contracts, and the event date, to putting everything together, all the SOPs that need to be in place, so on and so forth. So we just want more patience. We just want our clients also to understand by the end of the day that yes, we call ourselves magicians. We are proud as wedding planners to call ourselves magicians. But when we get that freedom and that trust, that's when we are able to do it most happily and most confidently. So that is something we need to gain from them. So I'm sure you all agree with me on that particular aspect.
Yes, Ruchika.
Absolutely.
I couldn't agree more with Ruchika, what she said. I think that was bang on. What I want to say is, of course, I mean, the client also, I feel that the client has to be well informed and they should be told about the plan B as well. And there are few points that client come up that, we want this or we want that, and we should discourage them and give them an alternate of that as well. Like, I feel buffet should be cancelled and there should be a sit down, because that is one of the reasons to which we can spread the virus. So few points that I feel the client should also be well aware and should be told that there should be an alternate to everything. That is one thing that I feel we should be doing as a tip.
Great. I think I would like to add to that point that we have to talk to our clients, request them to follow the protocols, because of course we have done weddings throughout this pandemic, and it's a celebration after all. So at times they forget or they want to forget maybe, but we have to keep reminding them that, request even the guests to follow the protocols, at least wear masks wherever possible, and maintain social distancing. So these things are very, very important at the end of the day. Of course, we are doing, we know that they have got their COVID negative tests and medical reports and everything, but still one reminder is something that can go from our end in a polite way. Also, something apart from this that I would just like to add is that that's something I've noticed, and of course my fellow planners would also agree, that all this while we were planners and we were planning wedding, and we were, that itself is such a stressful job. But apart from that, when this pandemic started, we started suddenly, the whole planning process was 50% of our job, and the taking care of the safety protocol was other 50%, and it all added to our role. And I feel we it was such a different way in how we were doing, and I think we should be appreciated. And it goes what Ruchika is saying, that a client should appreciate that and trust us. And here we were guiding everyone when actually we were also facing it for the first time. So we were guiding the vendors, we were guiding the clients, what we should be doing. And I think hats off to all of us who have done weddings successfully. I know it's not easy.
Yeah, I completely agree on that. I actually have a direct message from someone who wants to discuss manpower management. He's asking, how do we pay during no events? It's not about profit, it's about taking our industry as well. So I think he's wanting to know, how do you manage, manpower, especially now that you're having last moment cancellations?
It's just, I think the main step would be to have, our processes in place. Like, if we already know that, so for example, in case of cancellation of the event, how we are gonna, pay our vendors, as well as what is the policy for our client, what is it that we are going to retain, and what is it that we'll give back. And I'm able to just say this so quickly because there's so much that's been going on in the past 10 days, and I have events coming next week that we know that it's just helped us because we've had those things in place. But still there is so much back and forth, because we let's be honest, in India we are not so used to, in weddings we cannot do everything by the paper, right? So however, that's what the pandemic has taught us, and we've changed things. So if we've gotten on to doing that, we make those procedures really strict and stringent. and we convey our vendors that, boss, you know that these are the conditions we are in right now. So this is how we'll pay you if it gets cancelled. If it gets postponed, then what? And then if perhaps maybe a destination change is happening, then what? So these are the kind of three things or three clauses we like to stick to. And how we adjust our fees, etc., or our advances is then basis that. If that answers the question.
So we have one question from Hardik Arora. How successful is the intimate packages where we offer food, decor, and other services in, say, 2 lakh or 3 lakhs for 50 packs? So, would you like to shed some light on how you're planning intimate weddings?
Anant wants to answer that. I can.
Ruchika is the best person to answer this question. How one can plan a wedding in 2 lakh or 3 lakh rupees?
We all are speechless right now, Gaurika. You can hear.
Yes.
That's why we are posing and looking at each other, perhaps. But
you can't plan in that budget.
We don't know actually how to plan weddings in 2 lakh rupees or 3 lakh.
We don't know, yeah.
Gaurika, that there are two types of people who like to get a wedding planner on board, then people who have wedding planners in family. So I think this is right now, the pandemic also gives us a time to bring out the brilliant talent that exists in our families, and then perhaps use that talent. I think, I'm just being very real about it. Why not? Because, so many of our friends, family members want to help us. So I think that would be the best bet. Anant, have I answered that?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I think it's all about prioritizing then when you have a limited budget in hand. Gurmeen says, I would like to get associated with these wedding planners. Do you collaborate with fashion designers? Gurmeen, I think I can answer that for you. We'll be happy to take this up. You can DM us on our social media handle and we'll help you connect with them. Okay. I think we are done with the questions from the chat. So now I would just like to conclude the discussion by saying, it's all about all the stakeholders coming together when it comes to weddings in general, be it the couple, the family, or the wedding service industry, in order to make safe weddings happen. And as our global brand, the Not Worldwide, rightly puts it, love is not cancelled. There's just a shift in demand. With that thought, I would like to thank all the panelists for their valuable insights and for our audiences to stop by as well. I hope during these testing times we have the strength to choose faith over fear. And with that thought, this is me, Gaurika Singh Makkar, on behalf of WeddingWire India, signing off. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gaurika. Thank you, Mila.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.